Hello, everyone, and welcome to the sixth episode of the Spiritual Transformer podcast. My name is Randy Koo, and I will be your host today. So, I would like to begin once again by saying a big thank you for everybody who's dropped me a like, or hit the subscribe button, watch any of my previous videos. I cannot do it without you, and I'm very, very grateful. So, thank you. So today we're going to be talking about something a little bit tough. In the spiritual community, there is a belief that deep down inside, at our soul level, we are beings of unconditional love. And part of the goal here on earth is that we are supposed to express that, be that, embody that being of unconditional love. And that means quite literally loving everybody and everything. And that's a very, very difficult task. So maybe today I can talk about something a little bit simpler, like forgiveness maybe. So that's going to be topic for today's podcast, forgiveness. But when I say forgiveness, I mean it. I mean forgiving everybody, the arts of forgiving everybody. Not just forgiving your close friends and family who you have a strong connection with and you're okay to let a few things slide. I mean everybody, strangers, your boss, celebrities, maybe politicians, all sorts of people. Anybody who's triggered you, really. And I know a lot of you are probably thinking, well, that's pretty hard too, forgiving everybody, like maybe bullies at school or yeah, higher ups at your company. Anybody, the guy who cut you off on the highway, yeah, everybody. I believe that we really should practice that, and I know a lot of you are thinking, well, that doesn't make a lot of sense. But what if I were to say that when you forgive someone, you're not doing it for them? When you forgive someone, you are really doing it for yourself. Consider this very simple example. Like if somebody's betrayed you in the past, could be anybody, right? And anytime that person's name gets mentioned or you think about that person, you get triggered, right? Doesn't that kind of mean that this person is like living rent free in your head? They trigger you, and all of a sudden you go on a rant for 20 minutes about how bad this is, how they treated you, how they made you into a victim, and you know, it's just it's all, it makes you feel really, really negative, doesn't it? I know that's happened to me, but I'm trying to excise that, right? So my belief is that when we forgive someone, we are doing it for ourselves. It's kind of like if you don't forgive someone, their thoughts, their pattern, I guess, in your head is kind of like a tiger, a tiger in the mountain, right? You're trying to travel through the mountains, just traveling through the path, and all of a sudden you get triggered by thoughts of this person who's betrayed you in the past, and it's kind of like the tiger just jumping out and mauling your brain, and right, it's kind of like that. Right? You never know where the tiger is gonna be. You never know when it's gonna pounce on you. It kind of feels like that. You just going about your day, and bam, you get pounced by a tiger, a betrayal from your past, and I can't imagine that's pleasant. And I can't imagine why anybody would want some person, some tiger, to live rent free in their head that they can just come in any moment and kind of ruin your day. So I kind of did something like that. Like I practiced forgiveness. So when I first started meditating, there were people, let's just say celebrities and maybe politicians, people who give me a bad day, you know? I see their name around and I just get triggered. Very common stuff. So I decided to practice what I want to preach. So I started meditating, closed my eyes, took a few deep breaths, and I literally pictured them in my head and said, thank you, thank you, thank you. I forgive you, I forgive you, I forgive you, and I love you, I love you, I love you. I did that. Like I literally did that. I know it sounds really wacky to people who haven't really tried it, but I did that. I just picture the people who've, well, people totally outside of my control. Like maybe the head of my company, for instance, politicians, celebrities that piss you off. I did that, and I just sort of went through the rounds and over multiple meditation sessions, and I just forgave them, and even sent love to some of them. And I have to say, for me, it works because, whenever I see these people on the news, whenever I hear them speak, whenever something pops up in my head about them, I do not get triggered anymore. They don't piss me off. They don't do anything to me. In fact, I could think about them right now, and I have been, and it's just like, whatever, you know. I feel that I've let go of the anger, the need to judge, just by forgiving them, and I think it's made things more peaceful. The tiger, the tiger is gone from my forest. They ain't gonna pounce on me no more. At least that's how I feel, right? And some of these people, you see every day on the news and whatnot, and I'm okay, right? And I think that helps a lot because let's think about it this way. While you might be triggered by them or thoughts of them, you might be triggered by whoever you're triggered by. They're probably not triggered by you. So this goes back to another example of you're doing this for yourself. You're forgiving others, but you're not doing it for them. You're doing it for yourself. Because these people who you hold a grudge with, these people, while you're being pissed off at them, while you're having a bad day because you just think about them, they could be having wine, sipping wine, having a great dinner, chatting with their friends, maybe dancing with a loved one. They could be having the time of their lives. They certainly ain't thinking about you. But meanwhile, like you or me, we're thinking about them. We're just like, man, these people, they drive me crazy. So yeah, you're not doing yourself too much favors by holding grudges against anybody, really, because chances are they ain't returning the favor. They're not thinking about you. They ain't thinking about how much they've hurt you. They ain't thinking about how much they made a victim of you. Like they just aren't. They're just going about their lives. And I think in a way you should do too. So that's why I do recommend that you forgive everybody and everything. Just meditate, or you don't, just sit quietly and go, I forgive you. I love you. And just try to let go of all that as much as you can. I think in my example, my life really, it makes for something a bit more, makes for more peaceful living, and I think that's something everybody can use. But I don't always have much success. So the example I just gave were about people that I really can't control. Like they're never gonna see me. I'm never gonna see them face to face. They're completely outside my realm. But I do get annoyed from something that's a little closer to home. Now, I'm not talking about my friends and family. I actually have zero grudges against anybody, or at the very least, very little grudges. Even my parents, like I'm okay with them being what they are and me being who I am. Like I don't hold much animosity towards anybody close to me, and I think I consider that lucky. And I think that's also because I've been practicing forgiveness for quite a long time now. I don't always send love to people I don't like, but I kind of started to, and I think it works. But like I said, there are still things that, well, still piss me off. So this example is something I'm still working with. And sadly, I live in a very noisy neighborhood. Like, just so much noise. Everything from construction to honking. It's people yelling. I mean, you name it, I hear it. Fireworks, even. Probably, if I had a choice, I would definitely pick someplace more quiet to live, but there we are. So one of the things that really, really bug me are loud vehicle noises. So we're talking loud cars, loud motorbikes, the exhaust. Once in a while, just going boom, and like it just literally the place kind of vibrates because of how loud they are. And you know, you could be watching a movie or playing a video game and it gets to one of those quiet moments where, you know, everything's poignant, you know, they're about to reveal who the killer is, and all of a sudden, boom, right? It drives me nuts, and it still does. So what I'm doing is that I'm practicing forgiveness, yes, on them too, and I consider these guys like my nemesis, really. And I practice forgiveness on them. Anytime I hear boom, I just go, I forgive you. I can't really bring myself to say I love you at the end of that too, but I can definitely say I forgive you. So every time I hear loud noises, I forgive you, I forgive you, I forgive you, over and over and over again. Now, does it have a permanent effect? It's getting there. They're starting to trigger me less and less, but they still do trigger me. It's especially the ones that are just unpassing, okay, no big deal. But the ones that stick around and keep making noises, oh boy, that still gets my goat. So, yeah, it's not 100%, but I do notice that there's some synchronicities happening, though. Well, you know, the universe, some people believe the universe is just one big mirror. What you put out, you get back. Do unto others what you would have them do unto you, that kind of thing. As within, so without, as above, so below. So I think maybe my giving forgiveness to these loud vehicles and their drivers is helping, in a sense, because I start noticing that for the really bad cases, they could happen while right when I'm about to like step into the shower, or maybe even during the shower, you know, because when you take a shower, the water noise muffles up just about everything. You can still hear a bit, but it muffles up. So maybe, you know, I take a shower at just the right time and they drive by at just the right time and I'm not really triggered. Another example is, oh, there's one happening right now. I don't know if you can hear. That one's pretty faint and it's not that big a deal, but there are louders. And there was another time when there was a really, really persistent vehicle making loud noises, and luckily I was right about to step into meditation. And when I meditate, I use one of those noise canceling headphones, right? And when I have those on, again, I can barely hear vehicle noises, right? In fact, the vehicle was so loud that it triggered me, and it kind of caused me to go around investigating where the noise is coming from, which car the noise is coming from, because we can see a little bit here. And if it wasn't for me being so triggered and trying to like identify the source of the noise, I would have already started meditating. I would have already put on the noise canceling headset, turned it on, and you know, blocked out the sound. And you know, even though the sound still exists, I mean, if you don't hear it, it doesn't really matter. It's like a tree falls in the forest and nobody's there to hear. Does it make a noise? Kind of like that, you know. So I know I don't have any definite proof, not even in my experience, that total, complete forgiveness works 100%, but I do see promising signs. So that's something I would keep practicing, like all the time, every day. And one of the good things about having cars with their loud vehicle noises driving around, and I can't believe I just said that, is because I do get to practice forgiveness. You know, every time they drive by, it's an opportunity to practice forgiving and just letting that feeling go and be more peaceful overall. Try to grab more joy out of life, and yeah, that's what I've learned. That's what I learned. That's what I've learned, and I'm hoping to pass it on to you. And that's it. That's the best advice I've got. Yeah, I'm still traveling the road. I'm still traveling the road with many people, and I'm just putting my experiences out there. So I hope it helps. I hope that this convinced you to maybe start looking at forgiveness in a more possible light, positive light, something that you can maybe do for yourself in your life. And that's all for now. So my name is Randy Koo. You have been watching these spiritual transformer podcasts, and I hope you enjoy. If you do, please click the like button, click the subscribe button. You know the drill. All the support's appreciated, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.